All right, hello everyone. Um, Thanks for checking out the video. This material will be on your final. I might go over it once in class. Haven't really decided yet at the time of making of this video, but you will be required to take off and put back on a string for me. So while we may not work on this much in class, you do want to have it down. Cool thing is, once you learn how to do one string, you learn them all. I'll give you a couple tips for the other ones, but it's essentially the same thing. So on this side here, we have the tuning pegs. The kind of tricky part is down here. Now, as you see, and most of yours are probably like this or very similar, there's a hole and a bunch of these little white things here. So I'm going to change this bottom bass string as a demonstration. Now, the way that this works is, this little white peg, the white peg has a groove in the center here. You can kind of see how it's divoted in. That side is going to go facing towards the guitar. The divot is going to face the guitar. So I'm going to slide the string in, and the string with the end of this circle, because the circle gets kind of caught in that divot and underneath the peg. So you put the peg in, or you put the string in, you put the peg in, and then, oh, hey. You put the string in, and you put the peg in, and then I would just kind of lightly tug on the string a little bit just to make sure that, oh, did it again. I would tug on it just a tiny bit just to make sure that it's tight in there, because you don't want to have that thing flying out as you're winding it up. So I tie it just a little bit, and you want to feel it kind of hit the top so that you know that that little round circle thing on the end has kind of come into contact with the nut. Press it down a few times, and then we're going to head on up here. And up here, now I want you, this is a quick thing to pay attention to. So if you look at the way that these strings are set up, you want these top four, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, to all be going inwards. So if you see how this is in, and this one is on the inside, same with these ones here, they're on the insides, right? So the reason that it is because if you try to put them on the outsides here, they'd hit this thing. So these 4 pegs, you all want to have the strings going inside like I have them. Otherwise, you'll have them running into the other pegs and it won't work. To do that, that means as you're twisting this, you want to make sure that this string ends up, twisting on in that direction so that it ends up on the inside like this. Now these outer 2 ones, you want on the outside, because if they're on the inside, then they'll hit these strings. And that's kind of one of the only real secrets or tricks to doing this. So the way that I do it is I kind of remember, so I want it to go on the outside, so I'm probably going to wrap around like this. And I'm not putting on new strings, I just took off one that I already had, and just kind of went nuts with that. So first what I like to do is I like to run the string through the hole here, because that's kind of the tricky part. And since I'm using an old string, it's actually a little harder for me, because it really wants to, it's already kind of used to being wrapped around. But at this point, what's cool about the steel strings is they're pretty stiff. So what you want to do is you want to kind of, you got 2 ends sticking out of here. Ugh. You got 2 ends sticking out of here. You want it to want them to both be kind of high up so that they don't go underneath these strings. And then you just want to start twisting so that this end that's going to go all the way down to the guitar, this end here, ends up winding on the outside. And then you just start winding and you kind of press it so that it starts to wrap around, or you kind of pinch it at the end here like I am with my right hand, this hand right here. kind of pinching it so that it wraps around as I'm twisting the peg with the other hand and tightening it up. So this will just unfortunately be a boring part of this demonstration as you just watch me twist. But you'll have a chance to do this yourself while I'm doing it. So twist it around. You can certainly try to wrap it so that it looks like it's nice and coiled around and looks good. Ultimately, you just want to make sure that it's tight and that it stays on. It doesn't necessarily have to look pretty. That's not, a big deal. My guitar is kind of neat that I have a tuner built in. So now that I'm sure that it's kind of taut and it's not going anywhere, I can turn my tuner on here. Bring it up in tune. And it's a little out of tune because I haven't played this guitar in a couple days. But essentially, that is how you do string changing, and it's the same with every single string. There's no secret to any one of them. The nice thing about steel strings is they're really easy. This is pretty much how you change electric guitar strings as well. The top is going to be very similar. The only difference is that on the electric strings, and for the gal in my course who's a dobro, I didn't check, but it could be like this too. Instead of having the pegs and it going into the body, you run them through, there's like this bridge with circular things running in each one of them, and you run the string through it and then bring it up. But essentially, once you learn to do a steel string, you've pretty much learned how to do an electric before, and it's pretty easy to see. So, as I said, this will be on your midterm exam. I want you to come in with one of your strings unstrung and then string it for me and put it into tune for the exam. So keep that in mind. This may be something you want to practice a couple times. This may be a video you want to look back at a couple times throughout the semester. Thanks, and I'll see y'all in class.